All right, a lot of these tech bros and these tech oligarchs are total crackheads, and they have completely capitulated to Donald Trump and what appears like capitulation, but really they're playing him because he's so easy to play. And they have decided, these tech oligarchs, that they no longer see democracy as useful to their wishes. And they know that none of them are electable. They know that none of these guys, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Jeff Bezos, could put their names on a ballot and go win an election. So instead, they would rather nefariously and manipulatively dismantle democracy. Here's an example of just what crackheads these guys are. And all of this, you're going to want to stay tuned into this entire episode, links to Russia. And that's a very, very important component to this story. But here's Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir. Just watch this.
When we began talking, annoying each other 10 years ago, hopefully I'm annoying you as much as 10 years ago, or more. When I made you know this, yeah. Every decision Palantir made, FDAs, going public, building products, enterprise, large data sets, going to government, acknowledging American superiority, being pro-meritocracy, launching an AI platform, calling into question that AI models would actually be able to perform without orchestration. Every single one, our ontology, every single one of those was viewed as stupid.
Okay. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's clear to me that he's on some sort of stimulant.
Yeah.
And is speaking from a very defensive posture. And these guys, like a lot of people in the MAGA world, they get into these bubbles and they're so out of touch with everyday life. And then they get clipped up and put on the internet and you see like, oh my God, these guys are insane. And it's really important to note that Palantir is the group that has a huge government contract, which right now is getting all of our data and is also involved with the government of Israel. And I just think the more and more you see these billionaires speak, and both parties created these billionaires, both the Democrats and the Republicans created this situation. And now we're left with these oligarchs that are in a state of psychosis, if you will. And they're so devoid of reality that their views for the world are utterly insane and incompatible with the views of what everyday people living in the European Union or the United States of America want.
I listened to him and obviously he's on something, but he's talking about meritocracy. And I'm like, there is no meritocracy. There's rich white men outgaming each other and government subsidies and, manipulating people. But there is no meritocracy in this world because it's only about money.
And moving along here, it's important to note that these guys were able to see a weak candidate that was very easy to manipulate so that they could pounce on him. And if you think back to Peter Thiel, and there's a video of him saying that he thinks that democracy is no longer useful and he would rather have some sort of tech CEO run the United States of America. And I want to point out the following. If you're a MAGA person and you are all about America first and you're anti-immigration, I want you to think about how Peter Thiel, who's connected to Palantir and that crackhead that we just saw, he is not from the United States of America originally. He is an immigrant. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are immigrants. And these immigrants have come over to the United States of America, not their home countries, and received a lot of government subsidies. And they've decided they don't want democracy anymore. And they found a candidate with whom they could buy off, who doesn't care intellectually about the country, who doesn't care about the longevity, who plays everything in a very short-term game. So if you're a MAGA voter, and you are very upset about immigrants, I find it interesting that you're more upset about the Hispanic immigrant that is at Home Depot buying supplies to go work on somebody's home or some project somewhere. And you're not upset about these billionaires like that crackhead right there, who I think is American, but the other ones, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who have decided that the Constitution and American democracy is not for them, yet they don't run a campaign. They find idiots like this, Donald Trump, who it's so easy to quid pro quo this guy. And this came out over the weekend. So Trump pardoned a Democrat, a very scandalous Democrat, pardoned him. And then the guy gets out of jail and he registers to run again as a Democrat. And Kanks starts throwing feces all over the internet again. Pop this up. So Brett Misalis points out in his response to this insane Truth Social, this is an admission by Trump that his pardons are quid pro quos. We have all assumed this to be the case, but stunning for him to just say it. Insane levels of corruption. And the Midas Touch had reported that Trump rages that Henry Queller didn't pay him back for a pardon by switching parties, blasting Queller for a, quote, lack of loyalty. In other words, Trump admits he was trying to use his pardon power to buy Republicans a House seat.
Well, here's the thing. Everything Donald Trump does is transactional. You want your merger approved by the SEC or FCC. Okay, well, donate to my campaign, donate to my ballroom. The reason he puts this out with zero fear is because he knows there's no one to hold him accountable. We saw what he did with Pam Bondi and the James Comey and Tish James indictment. Where is the outrage? This man is a walking crime mob family. The Supreme Court's not going to hold him accountable. Congress is not going to hold him accountable. So he goes on criming with complete immunity, and it's disgusting.
And these tech oligarchs, you guys, they knew what he just said right there.
Yes.
Peter Thiel knew that Trump would be the easiest to access, to manipulate. Vladimir Putin knows that he's the easiest to manipulate. China knows this. Viktor Orban knows this. All of these nefarious actors know this. And when you see these tech bros that have the same intention for the United States of America's destiny as Russia does, which is to dismantle democracy and commit the suicide of a superpower, we are so over our skis at this point because, as Pumps just said, the Republicans in Congress will not stand up to him. The media, legacy media, continues to sane wash a lot of the dismantling of this democracy. And just to show you how bad, I mean, these are really bad people, just fundamentally really bad people. Here is Joe Lonsdale, and he is the founder of Palantir. Joe Lonsdale tweets, if I'm in charge later, we won't just have a 3 strikes law. We will quickly try to hang men after 3 violent crimes. And yes, we will do it in public to deter others. Our society needs balance. It's time to bring back masculine leadership to protect our most vulnerable. And that last sentence is just classic gaslighting. Masculine leadership, he defines as hanging people in public to defend the vulnerable. And the rot in this billionaire class, and these are just such bad people. And it makes sense that at the center of this is this really bad, amoral person, Donald Trump. He doesn't give a shit if people are hung in public. He doesn't care about his legacy beyond this. He wants to go in, he wants to make money, and he wants to protect his ego. Those are his goals. So you have the worst of the worst that have gravitated to this guy because they know that they can exploit him. And here we have this company that has received millions and billions of taxpayer money. And these are what the founders of this company believe. These are what the people running this company believe. And the real hickey in this whole thing is the Supreme Court knows a lot of this stuff, and they still continue to side with a man who wants to dismantle the Constitution, and they want to dismantle it for all of these oligarchs. And if you look at John Roberts' career as Chief Justice, it all started with Citizens United. This is a purposeful, intent to deplete the United States of America from being a superpower and from being a democracy, and abdicating every position that we have to the most nefarious actors in the world. And if you look at what Vladimir Putin's intentions have been on the record for over a decade, it is to create so much friction in the United States of America, in the society, in the culture, that it wouldn't be sustainable for the democracy to continue. So my thinking here is that this is a modern day style of war instead of invading a space and launching guns and missiles. Now you have these very nefarious actors that are machinating, and their route into creating a war is through psychological warfare, through manipulating algorithms. They have a candidate and now a president that says he's vowing to take down the enemy from within, which is half of the American population, actually more now, since this approval rating is in the low 30s. But it is wild that this war is kind of being waged right now, and how many assets these bad actors have in the United States of America, helping them dismantle it. And when you look at the mental state of these people, Alex Karp, clearly on some sort of, cocaine or Adderall or something. You look at Elon Musk in the Oval Office, tripping his balls off on ketamine with a black eye. You look at this guy, Joe Lonsdale. I hope that he sent that out and he was on drugs. And if he was sober when he sent that out, we're dealing with a sick sociopath. And so this is just so incredibly dangerous that these people that are leading the country and have the positions of power to pull levers are either completely on a severe amount of narcotics and probably sociopaths that have decided that democracy is not what they want. And in the case of Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, pretty rich considering they're exploiting all of these immigrants, and they are immigrants. And so this is just a wild turn of events that continues to play out. And I would hope that the Democrats would start messaging about the real dangerous immigrants in this country, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who absolutely are on the record for wanting to dismantle democracy.
Well, I look at the misinformation campaign and the campaign that has been waged by powers other than the United States in the algorithms. So you have, leading up to the election, Republicans, foreign policy, America First Republicans are saying, yeah, we would rather have Putin than Biden. We think an autocracy is fine. So they're going in and they're changing people's mind in a war of information that's gone on forever. They have paid influencers telling people, oh, this is how it should be. And now you have all of these people that are not critical thinkers, so they're easy prey. They're saying, okay, well, maybe we do need an authoritarian. And when I look to ththese people like Palantir and Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, I think they want cruelty. They have demeaned poor people. They have demeaned immigrants to where watching someone hang on TV would be just fine with them. You hear Stephen Miller and Nancy Mace talk about how they just get their rocks off watching immigrants rounded up, shackled, and put on planes. They like it. So this cruelty, they're feeding it. And the American people, clearly there is a percentage of the American people that like this shit. They think it's really good. It makes them feel better to watch other people suffer. And that is a rot I don't know how you overcome.
Okay. And so all of this merges together with now the oligarchs. I think they have pretty much declared a victory to an extent in the United States. And now they've set their sights on Europe. And in a stunning development over the weekend, there was a security briefing where after Witkoff and Jared Kushner met with Vladimir Putin, all of a sudden the United States of America is very anti-EU. And I want to point out that they are very anti-EU because the European Union, as far as taking care of its citizens and being a more evolved democracy, is ahead of us. And if you look at what happened with Brexit, That the information is in. And Brexit was a move that was fed off of xenophobia and an anti-immigrant situation. And the data is in, and it has harmed the UK economy. It has not behooved them to have exited the EU. And so now Elon Musk and the crackheads at Palantir and JD Vance and Donald Trump, who is dog walked with a shock collar both around his neck and up his rectum by Vladimir Putin. There's no other explanation for it. Now they want to take down Europe. Pop this up, Kylie. Liz Webster tweets the following, and this is very, very important, you guys. The American far right isn't angry at Europe because of migration or free speech. They're angry because Europe disapproves their worldview. Europe is proof that civilization doesn't need cruelty to survive. Europe became the living proof that right-wing culture panic is nonsense. Europe, especially the EU, commits the cardinal sin in MAGA world. It shows that you can have welfare states, public health care, workers' rights, strong regulations. And that one is key as to my next points I'm going to get to. Climate protections, secularism, and still have higher life expectancy, lower crime, fewer guns, better schools, and more stable societies. This embarrasses the US right. It exposes the lie at the heart of MAGA ideology that social democracy is in decline. So they must manufacture a myth of civilizational collapse to defend American exceptionalism. And I think this is just so spot on. You may remember right after Trump was sworn in 2.0, JD Vance started saying disparaging things about Europe. And I was kind of like, that's pretty interesting. And you saw a lot of the members of EU race over and flatter Trump because they're so dependent upon this relationship forged by Republicans and Democrats before. Donald Trump has zero interest in democracy. I don't even think he so much even cares about autocracy. He wants to be popular and he wants to be rich. It's that shallow. It's that vapid. And so you have all of these people that are moving in to dismantle all of these things. And these are broken people. Why would they not want democracy to succeed? Why would they want good school system? These are people that are emotionally stunted that are running the United States of America. And that tweeter is 100% spot on with her analysis. The European model is a threat. And it disproves every single day all of the bullshit, not just MAGA Republicans have spewed, but Republicans before them. And this is where it gets really dicey. So X, Twitter, is banned in Russia and it's banned in China. And Elon Musk bought X intentionally to rig the algorithm, to swing the election. And he paid billions of dollars for it. Then he gave Kanks, $300 million, and he worked overtime to get him elected because he doesn't want regulations. He wants to be able to manipulate algorithms. And here's a guy, I want to remind you, MAGA voters, this guy's an immigrant who is a trillionaire because of your taxpayer money. And this unelectable immigrant has decided that he doesn't like democracy and he doesn't like freedom. So instead of putting his name on the ballot like a big boy and running a campaign and winning, he would rather cheat and send out misinformation and Nazi bullshit on his social media website. They are all cheaters at their core. So pop this up, Kylie. Elon Musk tweets, the European Commission offered X an illegal secret deal. If we quietly censored speech without telling anyone, they would not fine us. The other platforms accepted that deal. Joni Ascola says Musk would never complain about X being banned in Russia or China, but he will keep complaining and lying about being fined by the EU for breaking the rules. He's such a huge hypocrite. Jay and Keefe says Musk and the Trump regime will never complain about X being banned in Russia and China because they aren't trying to install pro-Russian authoritarian governments into Russia and China, only in Europe. So he's all wound up, and he uses this free speech argument, Musk. And it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And in Europe, they want regulations on social media. And remember, regulations are not anti-business. Regulations are consumer protections and safety regulations. And the data is coming in, and you see how quickly radicalized and angry people can get and isolated they can get on these social media platforms. Europe it will very enthusiastically and in defense of their citizens, in defense of their democracies, place regulations on X. Elon Musk doesn't like it. And so now he wants to take down the European Union. And guess who his partner in crime in that is? Vladimir Putin. And guess who else is his partner in crime in that? The United States of America. It is so staggering and it is so nefarious. And the fact that this is not a drumbeat on all corporate media right now, and that we are just, following this headline or that headline, while these crackhead oligarchs are colluding with a war criminal Vladimir Putin, while Pudding Boy is over at the Kennedy Center trying to be popular and, redecorating his ballroom. It's just wild, and nobody is coming to save us. These Republicans in Congress will not. They are as cowardice as all get out. The Supreme Court is so incredibly corrupt, and they have been radicalized by right-wing media as well. And you have to look no further that when Amy Coney Barrett does an interview, she goes to Fox News, which is objectively a propaganda news organization. Amy Coney Barrett is not a serious Supreme Court justice. There's nothing serious about her. She has been groomed by the Federalist Society with layups from the Heritage Foundation, and she is a woman who has used all of the hard work of all of the women before her to get to the very position that she is, and she will weaponize her gender and her Catholic faith and oppress and dismantle democracy.
Yeah. And when I hear about Elon Musk and he's mad that Europe won't let him spew his hate and bullshit, I just think all he's done is talk about free speech. He's a free speech absolutist. But when the speech disagrees with his beliefs, he will shut it down. He'll rig the algorithm. When Gronk starts talking in facts, he has to rig the algorithm. So Elon Musk is nothing but a little dick energy, tiny, insecure boy that never could do anything and be popular or with females. He has to go to a petri dish. He has to go to this website and spew hate to feel good about himself. And that's who our president is BFFs with. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, I think they've had a little problem in their relationship, but I do think they have some mutually assured destruction. And I think that Pudding Boy is so out to lunch with his dementia that you have these oligarchs that are talking to Witkoff and Kushner, and they all want to get richer. And all of it aligns with what Russia wants. And what Russia and China want, what Viktor Orban want, is they want America to cease being the shiny city on the hill. All the shit that Reagan talked about, all that bullshit, they want all of that dismantled. And none of these guys can put their name on a ballot and go run. So they ran to Pudding Boy, Kanks, and because he's so easy to manipulate. Putin's been manipulating him for decades. They watched and they learned. And then you have the real nefarious immigrants, the real problem immigrants, which are Peter Thiel, Rupert Murdoch, and Elon Musk. Those are the immigrants that are a huge fucking problem in this country because they don't have the balls to put their name on a ballot and run like a big boy and go through the grinder of public discourse and then, accept victory or accept defeat. They can't do it. And so they go and kiss the ass of this guy. And we're literally watching generational damage to our country. And I am very, very fearful that, we have 3 more years left of this. What does this country look like in 3 years? It's just devastating. All right, that's all we have for this episode. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll be back later with more news.